A lot has happened here in the last couple of weeks. The warmer spring weather and rain has touched the land with more color, and I love watching it all come back to life. It makes me want to be outside more. I got a lot done so far. I sowed more seeds in the garden, and I've been babying the new plants that have sprouted. I've been getting creative thinking about other ideas for the season, but we also had to recently face the harsher side of nature, a devastating loss on our homestead, which now has me thinking about what I'm going to do next. The last couple of weeks made me want to just leap outside every morning and sing with the birds. We've had such beautiful weather, so watching this land transform before my eyes gets me excited to be in the garden again. I've been planting seeds everywhere, mixing up my beds this year so that I can have a variety of different things growing together. And I've already been able to start harvesting some plants like dandelion. Mother Nature has an incredible way of providing some of the best things for us without the help of any human. Many people don't even think twice about dandelions or do everything they can to get rid of them from their lawns. But this is an incredible super plant, full of nutrients and minerals. The entire plant is edible, from its root to the flower, and it does so much for our health. I started to experiment with container gardening, so I set up an area in my garden and began collecting pots. I'll try growing some hot peppers, echinacea, and other herbs like motherwort, tulsi, and the usual suspects like basil, rosemary, oregano, and thyme. Last spring, we did some excavation work in our pasture area to reduce the amount of flooding we were having. I dug a trench alongside our creek and used the dirt to create hugelkultur beds where I planted wildflowers. I had hoped that this trench would reduce the amount of flooding that was happening around our greenhouse every time we had heavy rain. But over the course of the year, the rain washed away much of the dirt and compost from the hugelkultur beds, and the creek was still overflowing in that area leading to our pasture. I decided to move the greenhouse to higher ground last year, and I'm glad that I did. But now I want to return this part of our land back to the wild. So I began to fill in the trench with the dirt that was left from our hugelkultur beds, and I planted grass seed.
Clockwork hit upon my head. I forget every single word you said. Words you said. I was fool's gold for you. I was fool's gold for you. See the zombies in the foothills, those madmen trying to get a thrill, get a thrill. I was fool's gold for you. I was fool's gold for you. And the young bloods on the trail, better tread on the rusty rail. This could be the side of me, the one you don't see, the one you don't see, the one you don't see, the one you don't see. See the madmen in the foothills, those zombies trying to get a thrill, get a thrill. I was fool's gold for you. I was fool's gold for you. And the young bloods on the trail, better tread on the rusty rail. This could be the side of me, one you don't see.
Just after I finished filling the trench, we had a devastating loss to our homestead. Our rooster. We're not sure what kind of predator took him, but we suspect either a fox or a coyote. It happened at dusk, just before the sun went down. We saw a bunch of his feathers laying on the ground near our large oak tree by the house, and then more leading to our pasture, where the greenhouse used to be. And eventually his feather trail disappeared into the woods. Out here, it's one of the most difficult things we've had to face, the loss of one of our animals. And even though I was on the fence about getting a rooster, because I did not like their aggressive sexual behavior with the hens, I took a chance on him. He was bullied out of his previous flock by other roosters, so we took him in, and I'm glad that we did. He was the best rooster, handsome, and defended his ladies to the end. He will definitely be missed. And after this loss, we decided to install an outdoor camera to see what kind of predators we're dealing with. Understanding the kind of predators that are hanging around will help us better protect our animals going forward, especially since we prefer to pasture raise our chickens. Last year, we brought 4 new goats onto our homestead. They've really adjusted well here and even made it through their first winter. They have a nice sized pen area, but I wanted to get them outside more now that the weather is getting warmer and rotate them around the property. Goats love to forage, but they're not grazers, so they don't nibble on grass. They prefer brambles, shrubs, and other woody plants, even poison ivy. There's a spot near the house that I had been wanting to clear, but it has a lot of poison ivy, so I figured it was time to put them to good use. Now that spring is here, I'm leaning into the energy that it brings, getting a lot done, but also giving myself the time to enjoy it. It's incredible watching this land transform before my eyes. And I never stop being amazed by the power that Mother Nature has to take what seemed like a dead, and lifeless part of Earth and turn it into something magical, full of life and so much color. It's a wonder that many of us take for granted. As we watch the seasons change year after year, but if we pause to deeply feel and observe what's happening during this time, we begin to realize that we too are a part of the very subtle alchemy that occurs. Because just as the seasons change, so do we. Creation is happening all around us and within us. It's a rebirth, a new year, a time for starting over, building something new, taking the old parts of ourselves and transforming them into something that lights us up inside, makes us feel alive, and brings us into a new way of being. So as Mother Nature takes her next breath and returns heart and soul back to the earth, may we too feel it in our lives and in our hearts.